What's going on? Welcome to another episode of the Impel Forward Podcast. I'm your host, Leon, and today I have with me one of the best trainers around. If you're looking for transformation, he's the guy to go to. He's a father, he's a husband, he's also a doula. Former running back, athlete Desmond Scott. Let's bring him to the stage.
What's up, Leon, man? Thanks for having me on the pod, brother, man.
Yeah. It's been a long time. How's
Yes,
everything
indeed.
going?
I can't complain, man. God is truly wonderful, man. Um, as you mentioned, the blessings of being a husband and a dad are great. And so I'm in a space of life now where those two things, along with doing what God has me to do, um, with my life, are priority. And so life is good, man. I shall not complain, not one bit.
Right. Now, speaking of priority, when we was talking about coming on the podcast, you mentioned your son,
Yeah,
and you was
yeah,
talking about what you had to do in order to come on the podcast. So
that's right.
how's that change your life?
Man, it's good, man. I'm in a space where I'm truly blessed, and I'm getting to do something that we typically hear mothers do, but not a lot of dads get to do it. Which is him and I. We're together all day. So I train in the mornings. I'll go to the gym at 4:30. My wife, before she goes to work, will drop him off at the gym around 7, and then I'll finish my training throughout 10 a.m. and then it's him and I for the rest of the day. And so for me to be able to come on the podcast, I had to figure out where I was going to be. So this is why I'm in the truck, and I'm actually sitting in my parents' driveway because I was able to give him or let my parents have him for a little bit, so that we could do this podcast. But being in this space, honestly, man, it's not talked about enough. And I think, right, we can't talk about it because we've never experienced it, and we don't have people who can share or pass this information down. But me being in this space is something that I'm going to tell him, like, hey, look, son, the money that you start making at, depending upon what this, if he plays sports or not, at 16, 17, 18, as a working young adult or an athlete, save all that money, right? Because the ability for me to be comfortable financially, to be able to be with him on a day-to-day basis, where he is as an almost 2-year old is head and shoulders above a lot of other 2-year olds, and I can only um, say it's because of the time that him and I are able to spend together.
Yeah. I saw a clip you put up with when y'all was in, I guess, your backyard painting leaves.
Mm-hmm.
I was like,
Yeah.
wow, that's awesome. Tell me about that feeling.
Yeah, man. I used to teach K through 6,
Okay, I
and
ain't know you did.
yeah, I taught K through 6. So coming out of college, I didn't want to do the NFL. I wanted to be a principal. So the school that I volunteered at, to get my education minor, they was like, we got a job offer for you if you want it. Took it. So that was my time of being an educator in the school system. So I did K through 6. And so he's in a space now where I'm thinking very hard about homeschooling. If my schedule and the life my wife and I are going towards continues on that trajectory, I want to do homeschooling for him. And so for me, the painting the leaves was a fun experiment for him, but for me, it's getting me in the routine of being an educator again, from the standpoint of being systematic and having a schedule to our day-to-day approach. So that's what that was about.
Right. That was nice. Now, being the athlete that you were in high school, running back in college, uh, what was your? Why didn't you want to go to the NFL?
For me, man, so I have a brother that's 7 years my senior, and I don't know if you have any siblings, but when you have older brothers or older sisters, it's all about making them excited about the things that you do, right? And so soccer was my thing. I used to play soccer. The only reason why I started playing football was because my brother came home one day and bragged to my parents about how well I played football with his friends. That's the only reason why I started playing football. And
Okay.
so for me, over the course of my football career, elementary school, middle school, high school, college, the next level was never really the thing for me. It was like, how can I bring happiness to myself and to the people who like to come watch me play? And so when I got to college, I did what I did in college, but it was so business oriented that it was no longer fun for me. And be it that I had nobody to lean on before entering to the college stage, I didn't know how business it was. And so it was a turnoff for me that it was super political. It was super business oriented. And now if I would have had the education and the wherewithal to know that this was a business thing, then I probably could have gone in there and handled the business thing as a businessman. But I was what 18 years old walking into a space and I just wanted to play football. I didn't want to do politics. I didn't want to do business, but it was happening all around me. I just so happened to be good enough that I didn't have to play any parts of the political game, and I still got my shine.
Yeah, yeah. I seen another clip that you talking about how your wife don't like you to bring up your diving into the end zone and get
Yeah,
some
yeah,
Jenny
yeah,
on the 5 yard line.
yeah, yeah,
You're someone with a freakish athlete. I seen it. This was years ago. I think it was you. I seen it on a buggy or something in the parking lot or something like that.
yeah. Yeah, like two sharpened carts and holding
Yes.
myself up it and letting it
Yeah.
slide out and bringing it back in. Yeah, I can't do that no more
Yeah.
though.
Like
Yeah,
man,
I
that was
can't
a
do I
while
can't
ago.
do that anymore, man. No, not I wouldn't even think about it. I mean, honestly, man, it's so funny. My dad and I was having this conversation last week or the week before last about how what age does to you. Not only age, but wisdom too. Like, man, I'm in a space, whether it's because there was a gap between me doing crazy and young things to now, and or if it's because I have a son, but I'm super aware
Mm-hmm.
of dangerous things. I'm not doing the things that I want. Matter of fact, we went we went ice skating at Fenton and Cary this past weekend. Man, back in my day, I would have went out there and just been, man, I was
Right.
taking my time because
Right.
I could not fall, couldn't
Yeah.
fall, couldn't fall.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I still do what I do, but it's definitely not without a proper warm up,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not without me being cognizant and aware of the possibilities of injury.
Yeah, yeah, and it's funny. I don't know if you remember the conversation me and you had. It's been a while ago when I was at your gym. When I was either 40, I had to be past 40, 45 when we had a little talk about some stuff I was going through with
Yeah,
my body and things like that. And just talking about once you turn 40 and 45, you start that
it's
time
different.
period as you get older is different.
Yeah, it's different. But I mean, so this is the thing that I like to say now because I have all types of ages that come into the gym. If you don't use it, you lose it,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so I only say that so that when your followers and listeners see or hear this, they won't be like, oh, I'm 45, I'm 50, I can't do what I do. No, 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 no. Like, if you start and you continue, you'll continue to have it. But once you stop, it's gonna be a fight to get it back.
Right.
Right. And I'm in the fight right now. I'm in the fight to get it back. Right. And I have all of the motivation in the world. I got an almost 2-year-old. So for me, I want to be able to sprint and not think about pulling a hamstring. I want to be able to jump and not think about an Achilles. So y'all hear us saying these things, but it's more so if you don't use it, you'll lose it. Right. So like if I would have continued to do things at a high level coming out of college to now, I would still be able to get on that buggy and go out and, but time changed, life changed, and I lost it. And so now I'm in a space of trying to get it back. And it back is more so like the explosiveness. But your body absolutely changes as you get older, for sure.
Yeah, because it's times where I pull up in the gym. I might go in the gym. At times I might go in there and don't feel it, and I'll leave. It's times I pull up in the parking lot. I'm like, man, I don't feel like doing this today. I leave.
Yeah,
and that's what, sometimes I worked out without a partner for a long time, and that's a lot of times with that partner. You have somebody to work out with you can push you a little bit more to go do it.
It matters. Having a partner definitely matters.
Yeah. So how did you get your start in training? What made you want to be a trainer? How long after college did you know?
I didn't want to be a trainer. My dad is the reason why I started training, man. So he was my my trainer and dietitian and dad when I what was that? Sixth grade, from sixth grade. Maybe fifth. It was fifth grade. Nah. When did we start? I think we started training, like legitimate training, in the sixth grade, when I was in the sixth grade. And so from the sixth grade on, it might have been before then. But anyway, I learned how to train. And I had my mindset that I was going to teach and be a principal. That's what I wanted to do. And my dad was like, yo, you need to get certified. Teachers don't really make a whole lot of money. You know how to train. It could be a good supplement. I followed him. I was like, I'm straight. And eventually I actually went to go get certified. And I quickly realized that the opportunity and the upside per training was greater than what it was in the classroom. And I was still teaching, right? So I was still able to service. My classroom just had changed, right? And my students weren't K through 6. These were adults that I was actually having the ability to impact. So that's how I got into training. My dad forced the issue, but I really didn't want to train.
All right. So I went through my stint of trying to get my certificate in training. That's way back in 2003. Now I was going through Nesta and I was studying and training. I had people on the side, but I went through a situation and I put all my paperwork aside and never finished.
Yeah.
By the time I found it, they was like, "Well, we changed the certification prices went up or something." I was like, "No, I ain't paying for this." So I just kept training on the side a little bit. Kept digging into what I knew then, but ultimately never really did it. But I had my little stint with it. Nowhere near as where you at now.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So what are the biggest difference when you train somebody? What are the biggest differences between, as far as how you train someone who's never worked out, of course, somebody who is working out, when they come to you? Well, I say like somebody who is played sports before versus someone training for general health.
Yeah. Are we talking about? I'll answer the question, and then if we have to make it specific, we can. I don't. There's no difference.
Okay.
To start off, right? So if I have, let's say, a 16-year-old high school kid that plays football that comes into the gym, and then I have Leon that comes into the gym, and they both can only work out at 5 a.m. They'll be doing the same thing. And I'm able to do that because over the 12 years of training, I've been able to shape and mold my training technique so that what we do within training is beneficial for both parties, right? Majority of the time, people that are coming into the gym that are out of the athlete stage, they either want to lose weight or they want to get in shape or something. 10 times out of 10, I can give you any kind of workout and or cardio, and you're going to do all the things that you want to do, right? So if I have that athlete that comes in, the 16-year-old, and he's wanting to be the best athlete he can be, I can make Leon train just like this kid, and everybody's winning. And then most likely vice versa too, because of the way I train and the different modalities within the programs that I write. The 16-year-old can also benefit from the things that Leon's going to do. So my training has become a space where no matter where you are in your fitness journey, and no matter what you're trying to get accomplished, you can achieve that within my group training. Now, making it a little bit more specific, if this athlete is a professional athlete, totally different. And or if Leon comes to me and Leon says, hey, I want to be a bodybuilder, totally different. Now we're talking about specific things. So we have sports specific and then we have bodybuilding. So these are two different lanes of fitness, but 95% of my clientele is the individuals that fall in the middle, where I want to lose weight, gain weight, have a right change what I look like. Those things, 95% of the people that I train and most of the world honestly fall in there. And so that's how I'm able to take so many different people that look totally different, put them in the same training session, and they are able to achieve their goals. That's what most trainers won't tell you. You come into the gym right off the couch, I can throw anything at you and it's gonna work.
Right. Yeah.
It's gonna work. It's gonna work. It has no choice because you're going from the couch to the gym, right? So it has no choice but to work. Only when you want to be specific does it matter. And then for real, it doesn't kick in until you want to get to the stage or you want to do a specific thing, i.e., I want to be a triathlon or triathlete. I want to do bodybuilding. I want to do powerlifting. I can get you to the tip of or the bottom of being the best athlete in said sport with my regular group trainer. Right. So a lot of the times it doesn't matter until it gets specific. And even before it gets specific, if we tweak your food, that can allow for greater performance as well.
Right. Now, if y'all haven't seen any of Des's some of his people he trained, their transformation, you need to go check him out on his IG. Yeah, I seen a clip with a girl. She said I guess she got in a wreck.
Yeah.
I got hit by a car or something and couldn't walk in high school. So.
Yeah, no, legitimately, she got hit by a car. She was walking, and I like to specify that she was actually walking and got hit by a car, and so she had to learn how to walk again, starting high school, and because of that, she had to relearn to walk. But most people don't do rehab the way they're supposed to do rehab. So she came into the gym. This was during college, so let's just call it 8 years later, and she couldn't squat or lunge. Legitimately could not. And so those are things that we had to work through, all in while trying to get her to lose weight as well. So we was building strength, losing weight, and now she's at the point where she'll squat 225, and her body looks the way she wants her body to look, and it's a thing.
Yeah, she looks amazing. Now, how does that make you feel to help people out in their transformation and for them to tell you how much you help them out?
It makes me feel really good, because I mean, I can't say my purpose in life is to be a trainer. I don't think that is um, good enough. But it's my purpose to service people, and if they can tell me that I've impacted their life a certain way, now I am truly living within my purpose. And so it makes me feel like I'm doing what God has put me on this earth to do, to be able to transform lives, not just from the physical, but from the spiritual, the emotional, the mental, and then give them access to all things education, whether it's in the gym or whether that's in the kitchen. And so as a trainer, I, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. As an educator, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And the thing that I like to brag on when I have consultations is that 95% of my clients are better than every trainer in North Carolina.
Mm.
And I say that because I know what I've poured into them. And so every last one of my clients can go train on their own if they wanted to.
Right.
They stay because of the value that I continue to pour into them day in and day out. And I believe that that is my job as a trainer. It's not to hold or withhold information. It's to give you everything I have so that I can push you and teach you and get you past where you thought you wanted to go.
Right. So what do you think is your purpose? You didn't want to play football. You played because you said your brother bragged about you playing
Yeah.
football. You played football. You didn't necessarily want to be a trainer. You want to be a principal.
Mm-hmm.
So now that you have this success in training, what do you think your purpose is?
Yeah, I think it's service and transformation, right? I mean, if you think about being a principal, that's what you're doing, right? You're servicing these kids, you're servicing the community, and good principals can change your life depending upon elementary, middle school, or high school. Those kids are going through different transformation periods, and that principal should be able to pour into those kids and pour into these teachers so that they can continue to pour into these kids, so that they can transition into whatever new realm of life that they're about to approach. And that's the same thing with training, right? It's service. I'm a service provider, but it's also about transformation. People can see God through me each and every day in how I treat my wife and how I treat my son, how I live my life. And so it's about transformation and service.
Right. Now, I've seen a lot of I don't want to say maybe docs, different trainers or people in that field talk about the importance of physical training as far as when it comes to lifting weights, resistance training,
Yep.
being more important than this cardio.
Yep.
What is your take on that?
I 100% believe what gives you longevity is muscles, right? I don't know if you've ever broken a bone, but it atrophies if you in a cast or don't use it. Let's think about a person that's like in a wheelchair, right? They're not using their legs at all, and you see their legs become small, almost sickly like. Not saying that they are sick, but almost sickly like, and it's the same thing. If you're not using muscles to the highest level that you can use them, you will lose those muscles, and you will begin to die. I mean, shucks, we're dying every day anyway, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you're just able to hold on a little bit longer with the more muscle mass you have. Now, that doesn't mean that cardio is not important. I think it's very important. Cardiovascular health, that is very important. But I would say that having muscle, and lifting weights, and getting cardiovascular endurance through weightlifting is absolutely important and necessary.
Right. I was talking with someone, and it's not. He recently started losing a lot of weight. He went vegan and doing a lot of cardio. And I
Yeah.
was telling him he need to start, putting on some muscle, at least
Yep.
lifting some weights. And he was saying that he wanted to get his body fat percentage to like 3%. I've heard people, I don't know for sure, maybe you do. I've heard that if you're not an athlete and that certain body, if your body fat percentage is too low, that it can be dangerous for you.
Oh yeah, I mean, being an athlete and your body fat percentage is too low can be dangerous. Like
Okay.
being a bodybuilder, my last bodybuilding show, I think I was down to like 4 and some change body fat percentage. Um, that's not sustainable. Like you can't be that low and maintain that. That's not sustainable. But you know, people who are heavier and do a whole lot of cardio to lose weight versus lifting only and or lifting and doing cardio will have more excess skin, excuse me, on that weight loss journey than those that do the lifting and the cardio.
Mm-hmm. Now, what made you want to go into bodybuilding? Is something you just want to try and do?
Nah, for real, it was about I mean, everything goes through my clients, honestly. So the only reason why I did it was to show them that there were more levels to fitness, right? So they look at me as Desmond being the epitome of health and fitness and health and wellness. I'm like, nah, it's not. Like, there's so many levels above where I currently am. Let me show you. And so I posted a photo on Instagram and somebody was like, yo, you should do a bodybuilding competition. I was like, find me one. He found me one. I did one 16 days later and won it.
And
16
days later?
16 days later, yeah. So I did one of my challenges that I put on at the gym called Prime 45. I did it. And 16 days after Prime 45, I got my pro card. And so the only reason why I did bodybuilding was to introduce my clients to it. You know, none of them have experienced bodybuilding. Never gone to a show, never watched it on YouTube, never saw it on Instagram. And because I got into it, I now have 7 clients that I used to train for regular group training that now bodybuild. And so that's the reason why I got into bodybuilding.
Right. Now, you mentioned Prime 45. Is that still something you have going on today?
Yeah, so we do Prime 90, which is always at the top of the year. So that's a 90-day challenge, January through April. And then I have 2 Prime 45s that happen in the year. So one in the spring and one in the fall.
And the 45 days, that's for 45 days.
Correct. Yep. 90 days and 45 days. Yep.
All right. Can you take us through any of those processes to give people a little information about how it works?
Yeah. I mean, so typically what would happen is you'll see it go on sale via social media. I put it on sale way before it starts. And the reason why I put it on sale way before it starts is because I like to start the participants 2 weeks early. I start you 2 weeks early for metabolism purposes, and I'm not going to go too far or too deep into that, but we start 2 weeks early, and then the challenge starts. Through each challenge, you get access to my fitness app, where on your phone, you'll be able to swipe feature and see my videos of my workouts. You'll get access to a larger group chat where you and all the other participants will have access to each other, but not only access to each other, access through me or access to me through text in this group chat. And then we have Zoom and or in-person meetings every Saturday. And this is where you learn nutrition. And so based upon the information that I was given earlier when I was talking about the athlete and the Leon that comes in, and I said it gets really specific, this is where it starts to get really specific for the Leon type of person. They come in, they train, and then they hop in one of these challenges. So they learn how to work out with me, and then I teach them nutrition within the one of the challenge, whether it be 90 or 45.
Right. Now, I've seen you put out let me see, at least two that I know trainers that used to work with you at your facility have their own gyms now.
Yep.
How
Yep.
proud are you of that?
So I'm very proud. I'm
Mhm.
proud that they are doing their own thing.
Mhm.
I've trained so many people who have their own gyms. It's
Okay.
crazy. But I, as a business person, I dropped the ball.
Mhm.
But I mean, that's me being young and not being in business long
Right.
terms.
Right.
Uh, they're doing very well.
Mhm.
So that I see.
Right.
But for anybody to be able to pass through Prime and continue to matriculate in the fitness industry, I can't help but think that I helped start a foundation for
Oh yeah.
said individual. Yeah,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And this anything with business when you first start, and even if you've been in business a long time, you learn something every day. Learn what to do, what not to do, what you can do better.
exactly, exactly.
Listening. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
So, wow. Now you became a doula. So
yeah,
what? Tell me about why did you want to do that?
yeah. I mean, here we go again. Let's talk about transformation and service.
Mhm.
So my wife had our son December of 22. Yeah, 22, which is crazy. And me being who I am, there was nothing that the doctors or the nurses were going to know that I didn't know.
Right.
Right? I was going to be in there, and every terminology they threw out, I was going to know. And my wife being a doctor, she's a dentist.
Mhm.
She's educated in these things as well. I'm like, I'm not about to be in here and be the only person that doesn't know what's going on.
Don't know
That's
the
not
lingo what you talk
yeah,
about.
that's not happening.
Mhm.
It's not happening. And I want my wife to be able to be in here and enjoy this process and know that her husband has it. And so I
Mhm.
did my due diligence as a husband should, to ensure that she had the comfort and the confidence in her husband that he was going to handle and take care of everything. Because we hear stories, we hear stories all the time about these women, black women especially, going into these hospitals to deliver, and them being the baby and the mama, or the mama don't make it out. That wasn't
Mhm.
happening with my wife. It was not going to happen. And so I became educated, and then the business sense kicked in. And it's like, oh, I train a large demographic of women who are going to have babies. On average, out of everybody that I've trained my people for 8 years. The relationship is already there for husband and wife knowing Desmond to feel comfortable for a male doula to come into their presence. So now I have a client, and I train husband and wife, and I've been training them both since 2019,
Mhm.
maybe 18. I think it's 18. And yeah, I'm now about to be their doula.
Mhm.
And so this wife gets to have her husband, a black man, and her doula, who's also her trainer, a black man, to be in the room and help her voice be heard in a room. She feels comfortable. Not only does she feel comfortable in that space, now when she comes out of her 6 week postpartum um, rest period that she has to have, I know how we can approach training when she comes back,
Mhm.
because I was in the room. I know what happened. I know what didn't happen. And so now we can take everything prior to you being pregnant, while you were pregnant, post delivery, postpartum, into back into the gym, and we're able to move in a very healthy manner to get her back to the woman that she felt like. Now that's the woman side. On the other side, I know so many daddies who go into the delivery room nowadays, and they want to be a part but don't know how to be a part. And so
Mhm.
what I like to do is cultivate conversations between husband and wife, about what she wants and needs and what he wants and needs in the delivery room. you'll be surprised how many conversations between husband and wife that don't happen prior to the delivery room, right? And so my job, what I like for my job to be, is give the husband as much education as possible so that he can do everything that I would do if she was a single woman. So if I'm able to sit back and just chill and be on the couch and let the husband do his job, I've done my job. That's why I like to do them. I want to give that man a voice in that operating room or in that labor and delivery room as well.
Right. Only thing I could do was stand up and look over the tape, look over the curtains when my wife was having that C-section. I look.
Yep. Yep. And so my wife too had a C-section. But even still, so I'll give you a very bomb story. So two deliveries ago, one of my clients, we had been there all morning, and her doctor, Dr. Flanagan, excellent lady, man, she was great. She basically said the baby is breached, right? If y'all don't know what that is, the baby was feet down. And one of the goals for me is to always figure out how I can give autonomy back to the mama and the daddy. How can I give them back the autonomy? How can I give them a decision to make, right? Because there's not many decisions that can be made per the parents if the baby is breached, right? We can try to rotate the baby, but if we try to rotate the baby, the umbilical cord can fall out, which means we got to go to emergency C-section. So like there's things, right? So I'm like, all right, we got to figure out how to get a baby autonomy. Not the baby, the parent, excuse me. And so the baby was breached. And the idea that I came up with was, all right, cool, look, let's go back to the operating room. We'll be here if we have to get an epidural. Then we can try to turn the baby. If the umbilical cord does fall out, we already got the epidural, so now we can go ahead and perform the emergency C-section. Well, when her water broke, they went to the back. The doctor checked one more time, and the baby was no longer breached. So, like, me being there, me knowing the possibilities, etc., allowed for another opportunity. So she didn't have to get an epidural, nor did she have to get cut for no reason. So, stuff like that. Yeah, man.
Yeah. Knowledge is key. And
Say it again.
I said knowledge is key and applying it. Knowledge.
Right.
Yeah. I know. I always tell people I talk a little fast. Sometimes people may not understand.
No, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. I can pick up on it. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah. So look, what advice would you give someone who's just starting in their physical journey of losing weight, whether building muscle, trying to get endurance, anything like that?
Yeah. Start slow. You're not gonna get it all on the first day. You're not gonna get it all on the first week. If you can put yourself with a partner or two, that will help. And don't try to do nutrition and fitness at the same time.
What do you mean by that?
It never works, right? So if you're just coming off the couch or you just starting and you trying to get in a fitness routine where you're going to the gym and you trying to focus on food, one of them gonna fail. And 9 times out of 10, it's gonna be the food. It just is what it is, right? So when people come to me, I never talk about food first. Let's just get you in the habit of coming to the gym, because clearly this is a new habit too. So instead of me overwhelming y'all with the gym and nutrition, let me just overwhelm you with the gym. You got to show up, right? Because I'm now holding you accountable. This money that you're paying is holding you accountable, and the people that you're working out with is holding you accountable. Once that now becomes a part of who you are and what you do, now I can throw food on you, and I know it's not going to fade.
Right. Yeah. I eventually see, well, I'm doing all this hard working out. I'm still eating this bad food.
You're gonna change. You're gonna want to change. Yeah.
Right.
But if you try to do both of them at the same time, you'll be overwhelmed.
Mhm.
And 9 times out of 10, the food stops first.
Right. Yeah. Now, I still give a little advice from different people who ask me questions. I don't know as much as you know, or more than you know, but I do have some knowledge of some things, But if y'all are listening, Desmond Scott Prime Institute is the place to be. Tell people how they can reach you, Des.
Well, I appreciate that, Leon. You guys can reach us at 3738 Durham Chapel Hill Boulevard in Durham, North Carolina, 27707. You can find us on Instagram at PrimeInstitute. You can find me on Instagram at DesmondlScott. And we're also on Facebook as both of those entities as well, PrimeInstitute and DesmondlScott. If you're not a social media person or you don't drive, you can send an email to info, that's INFO, at patfi.com.
Yeah, there you have it. And make sure y'all get in one of his challenges. It's the 90
Yep, 90 goes on sale Black Friday, and we start December, the last week of December, but the challenge itself starts December 6th, and then we have Prime 45 that starts sometime in May, and then we have this fall Prime 45 that'll start sometime in October.
Right. All right, no excuses, people. Go see Mr. Desmond Scott at Prime Institute. And there you have it for another episode of the Impel Forward Podcast. And remember, seize the opportunity to grasp your dream.